What's going on, everybody? I am so happy and excited today. I have Ray Higdon with me, and he graciously agreed to do this interview. Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, number one, I really do appreciate it because you've gone live, I think, 4 times today, interviews and
I think so.
makers and Tuesday, whatever you called it today.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like you're doing everything.
Hey, you got it, right?
Yeah. First question I want to ask you right off the rip, because I want to introduce you to my crowd of people, is tell me about, I know it because I heard it on the show, but tell me about your background from 2008 and how you went from being a really successful real estate guy to this like megastar in network marketing. How did that happen?
Yeah. Just overnight, man. It was awesome. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I was in real estate, and here in the state of Florida, the real estate market was just rocking. 2004, 5, 6, 7. July of 2007 is when things started getting a little weird. 2008 sucked. 2009 sucked. And so I had been all in on real estate for several years, and when the market changed, I didn't know how to adapt. I didn't adapt, and I got completely wiped out. And so I emptied my bank account. I maxed out my credit cards. I sold my furniture. Also, just so happened to go through a divorce during that time. Went into foreclosure. So it was just a rough scenario. And around July of 2009, I am very grateful that one of my friends who, I've never asked him if he knew that I was really bad off, because I didn't share any of that. I always kept up appearances and acted like everything was great, because I just figured people didn't care. He reached out to me, prospected me, told me about his network marketing opportunity. And I'm like, well, no one's hiring. My credit's shot. I don't have money. I think I can do this. And so did it. And long story short, did become the number one income earner in that company. And back then, the landscape for network marketing was very different. Back then there weren't a lot of, social media experts in network marketing. And so there were some companies and some people that really, blasted us and said, you can't do that on social media, and said, you got to be doing home meetings, you got to be doing this and that. And not that we didn't do those things, because we did everything, man. But we were able to make it happen on social media before there were many people doing it on social media. And so we started having, companies, leaders, want us to train them. Like, how are you doing this? Like, how are you, generating leads? How are you, how'd you become the number one income earner? Mainly using social media. And so we started training, and, we would do a little thing here, a little thing there. And, it was cool. Like, we really liked it. It was nice. And so people started wanting to hire us. People started wanting, like, do you have a course? Do you have a book? And so, we do all those, different things. And people started getting great results from it in all different companies. And that's kind of, what, moved us more into the coaching space.
It's so funny because hearing your story and now having been on the show and get to know you a little bit better. So I didn't start network marketing until the end of 2016. And one of the first things I heard was stay away from you.
Nice.
And I was like, why? Like, I didn't, because I didn't know anything. And then one of my really good friends got really connected to you. And that's how I started watching your free coaching Fridays.
Yeah.
Because he was in the same company as I was and said the exact opposite of what I was told. And I knew him. So I was like, well, that dude's a beast. So I'm going to listen to him. So it's just kind of funny. Now, I mean, you had tons of success in network marketing. So why give all that up to head the coaching direction? Because just so clarity for everybody, Ray doesn't promote any companies. He's not involved in any companies. He's not double and triple dipping off people being in his downline. So why did you leave all that to start coaching?
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough decision because, we are big fans of culture, and we had great culture. I mean, dude, we had barbecues at our house all the time with our teammates. We had pool parties. Probably the most fun was we had a bubble soccer game where I just got to truck some people. It was great. And so like we had fun. I mean, we had contests. We would run these different the company, and I was the number one earner. So, we would run these different vacation incentives. I remember one time I had 250 of my team on a cruise. It was awesome. Like we had a blast. And so it was great. And what I started, how we started kind of feeling is that the demand for us to train and work with others, and our, more and more people wanting to hire us, as coaches. And so like, I started feeling like I wasn't giving either of them 100%, and that I was now not serving either. And so, I looked at the scenario and I'm like, okay, if I go 100% here, how would that feel? And I did both scenarios. And the truth is, I felt, one, that my upline at the time, was dedicated and would serve my team really well. And that's actually who we sold our position to, is our upline. And I also looked at, we felt that we could make a really big impact at the profession level that would have to get lost to some degree if we stayed, within the team. And so, but let me share one piece that no one ever asked about, right? Is you got to realize I have way more risk now than I ever had at network marketing. I mean, our monthly, bills are six figures, from staff, from infrastructure, from server hosting, from course, all the different things that we have, going on. We have way more liability. We have way more costs and expenses. And so it went from, it is more complex. It is higher risk. There are, of course, good rewards, and we feel like we made the right decision, but it's not. I think some people think, oh, it's easier to do that. I don't know about easier. It's different, but I don't know about easier. Now, I did miss the team stuff. Like I just missed it, man. So like I think maybe a year in of retirement, right, of just being a trainer, I was like, man, I really miss like being connected to people and seeing people rank advance and seeing people, like running contests and having fun with them. Like, I just feel like this distant, here's a course, here's a book. And, I had a handful of clients. And that's, about 1 year after we retired from actively building a team, we launched Rank Makers, which kind of fulfilled some of that, right? So it gave me that, I get to see rank advancements. I get to celebrate with people. And it just gave a different feeling. And so like that, we kind of created, a really cool best of both worlds for us, at least.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just out of curiosity, because I didn't hear it mentioned in Rank Makers this week, how many people ranked up in their company that are Rank Makers this last month? If you have it, if you don't, it's just, I want to kind of give some context to what you just said.
Yeah, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know the like monthly, but I can tell you that as of August, in the last 2 years, we've helped network marketers bring in over 202,124 new customers, 48,037 new reps, and achieved 9,175 rank advancements.
Wow.
And so, like we really track stats. If we're not generating stats, then what are we doing, right? Am I just making people feel good? And that's not a bad goal as a team leader necessarily, because the more they feel good, the longer they're around the campfire, the more they may catch a spark. But people are paying us specifically for results, and so people that don't do the work won't get results. But are we providing a platform that will help people get results? And that's what we pay attention to every single week.
All right. So you're on this journey. You go from real estate to network marketing, super successful in network marketing, launch Rank Makers. And I was just doing some fuzzy math. I was like, holy cow. And then you decide to launch a reality TV show, already being a successful coach, already being a successful network marketer. What gives? I mean, are you going to be running for president?
You know, I would not rule that out if I was single, but I just wouldn't do it to my family. The politics, you know, bad politicians have made it too dirty of an arena.
For sure.
And you know, I wouldn't want to be worried about, is my wife going to get a battery thrown at her, or, you know, is my kid going to get, you know, punched because someone doesn't like my capitalist views. And so I just wouldn't do it to my family. If I was single, you know, I mean, I don't care if they attack me, but, you know, it's just, you know, it's unfortunate, you know. And they say those who refuse, I think it was Aristotle, those who refuse to govern are doomed to be governed by those inferior. But this is one of those sayings that the you know, current scenario, you know, it's just not, nah.
So that was tongue in cheek.
But the question, as far as why would I do that? So aren't I already? That's if you focus on how much money do I need, right? And so how much is enough? And I just have, you know, I've just built this into my brain that I have an immediate translation of money equals value. So how much value is enough? How many lives impacted is enough? And, you know, does a surgeon say, how many people do I have to save? Does you know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like, you know, if I know that I have the ability to impact people in a positive way, when do I meet that thing? And so whatever the hell I can do to impact more people and get in front of more people, I'm going to do that. And the reality show, I mean, I forget season 2 exactly, but I mean, season 1 was, I think at the end of the day, about $100,000 to run. I'm sure season 2 was, you know, was similar. And, you know, it's not like we sold it, you know, we didn't sell it. It's you know, it is what it is. It was to, you know, to get more exposure, to hopefully help more people.
Right. So,
and I just want to be very specific, to help more people, because that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So that's not a selfless thing. I'm not jumping on a grenade. That's for me to feel significance, for me to feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to do. It's impacting others, not in a selfless way, or I'm just here to help everyone, but because it's, you know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, and it makes me feel significant.
Yeah. So I didn't really know you or the Rankmaker culture before I joined the cast.
I could tell.
Yeah. What? Like,
it just seemed like you could, like, I would ask you a question and I'm like, is this guy in Rankmakers?
Well, barely. Like at that point, barely. 60 days, I think. Like I was just barely in there. But one of the things that I've said this on the other interviews, that really impressed me about both you and Jess was that even after people got eliminated from the show, you were over there investing in their lives and like genuinely trying to help them see more out of what they could achieve. There was no financial motivation for you to do that. There was no, at that point, there was no like further place for them to go on the show. And I just sat back and I watched that and I was like, man, okay. Like that dude legitimately wants to help people, because there was no benefit for you at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just, you know, it's part of what drives me, what I really just love and I feel called, you know, to, you know, do something about, is people who have been through a lot and been through trauma and keep showing up, and people that strive for the things that they want, people that strive for freedom. You know, I can't help everyone. If they don't want it, what can I do, right? I can't get them to do stuff. But someone who's been through trauma, someone who's had a tough go at life, which is, you know, a lot of the people that we've had on both seasons, and, you know, myself included. And so I just really am passionate about people who've been through a lot and are still showing up, still going for their best life.
Yeah, it was apparent to me. So I did not know this until just a couple of days ago, but you actually didn't get to see any of the contestants prior to their day one. I mean,
That's right. I didn't either season.
Either season.
I purposely I didn't want to be the picker because I'm probably going to know most of the people applying, and I didn't want that to be a factor. I actually had our friends at Two Market Media pick every contestant. I didn't pick any of them.
Yeah. So day one, you're looking around the room. What's going through your head? Now you'll have to kind of summarize both day ones because this is your first look at everybody.
Day one, what's going through my head?
As you're looking at the field.
It's kind of like when it's almost like when I do anything really. I hope that I'm able to show up in a way that makes a difference. And so like before I go on stage, if I'm speaking at an event, I always have a rough idea of what I'm going to talk about, but it's rough. And I just kind of say, hey, I hope that, I hope that I'm able to show up in a way that makes a difference.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Now, what do you think, because there's radical differences, what did you think was the biggest difference between season 1 and season 2?
So season 1, the theme was value, right? It was, how to have value in your pitches. It was because I wanted, because that's how I operate. That is my number one criteria, and it's just like, if I want something, then how do I bring value to that scenario so that I have a way of accomplishing it or gaining it? And so season 1, I really think the name of the game was value. That was centered around a lot of the activities. Season 2 was, I think more about how do we help people get out of their way. And I do feel like the coaching, and you hope this, right? You hope you don't go backwards. But I really feel like the coaching in season 2 is more applicable to more people, because it's like, what's one thing you're struggling with right now? Okay, what can we do to help you get out of that? And here's some steps, versus, okay, pitch me on why you're the right person. See, not everyone is in that kind of scenario where they're pitching themselves. And although that's good to learn, and that's good for entrepreneurs, I believe season 1 is very good for entrepreneurs. I think season 2 is good for everyone.
Okay. And I think that and I've said this several times in the interviews, that I believe that anybody, no matter what line of work you're in, you could watch season 2 and come away with value.
I think so.
I felt that way. All right. Funny question. I mentioned it to you before we came on, and everybody that I've talked to from season 1 and season 2, with the exception of 1 or 2 people, was absolutely terrified of your wife.
She's tough.
I have watched you and thought you were the more kind of hard ass of the two. And listening to everybody else talk about her has been kind of an interesting thing for me. Why do you think that there was this terror going in to face Jessica?
So we have different types. Different types of personality and different types of approaches. And I remember, I don't think this was on camera or made it to the show, but I remember in season 1, one of the guys, I can't remember his name because what's his name? I almost got it. There was a guy on, what's his name? I forget, but he was a former football player. And in the interview part, right, he's Devin, I think is his name. I'm pretty sure. Big guy, used to play for the Buffalo Bills, like no joke, right? And so, he's talking. And Jessica says, "Is that why your mom's disappointed with you?" And I'm like,
whoa.
I'm like, oh crap, man.
Wow.
So I'm like positioning myself, because I don't know if I'm gonna have to dive in front of her. I don't know if I'm gonna have to I don't know what I'm gonna have to do, but I'm like, damn. And I don't think there's anything that I was like really worried about in season 2 that she said, but she's tough. And when she's given permission to be tough, which, the crew wanted to see her tough. I tend to, in a group, I'll beat the hell out of you. Individually, individually, I really have to know that you're ready before I hit you with that. She'll hit you whether you're ready or not. And I'm also, I'm an adapter. So if I know that she's being tough cop, I'm not going to also be tough cop and just both of us beat the hell out of you, right? It just doesn't make sense. And so she, another trait that she has, which is, I heard one of our friends, she does, it's kind of like a personality test kind of thing. It's a little different. But one thing she said, she goes, with Jess's personality, she would rather be, I forget the term they use. She'd rather be strongly wrong than tepidly right.
Oh, wow.
And that works a lot of times.
Yeah.
See, I want to analyze the situation, give you what I really think is the right. She's not afraid to throw something out there, hit you between the eyes, and you can say, hey, that's not the case at all. And she'll bounce back. Okay, well, with it, right? Whereas it's a little different. And so I definitely think she was tougher on the shows for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was my first introduction to her, was day one, and she come firing, and I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. Like, so it just was so interesting to me through the interviews that kept coming up as people's number one nerve-wracking experience on the show was having to come face to face with Jessica. So I was kind of like,
she's tiny but mighty.
Yeah, like, in the second day when I had to talk with her, she had me crying in like minutes, and I was like, who the hell are you? Like, I just, like, in my mind, I don't do that. So for her, without me knowing her and having that comfort with her to draw that out of me, I was just like, my God, like, it was crazy. So in season 2, what would you say was probably your favorite moment on the show? Without giving anything away.
I mean, I just had a blast during the water challenge. No joke.
That was great, man. You guys, there's a picture that you guys posted on your Instagram. You do look like school kids.
Oh, man. I mean, specifically when Jess is going, hey-o, and she's lobbing the stuff. I'm just like, I was just cracking up, man. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
It was great. I remember walking in and going, okay, here we go. So, if you could redo anything about the season 2, would you? Is there anything that you would like to redo about it?
Redo about it.
Do over, do differently.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think possibly in the future, take on some. I would love to have a more diverse occupations. Obviously, mainly our audience, network marketing. I'd love to have some diversity in there. I'd love to hear, because I think it's important for people to understand that people, most people in all different occupations actually have the same problems. And I think that a lot of times we get stuck and we think that only I have these problems, but in reality, everyone does. And so I think that would be cool, having a more diverse occupation. But other than that, I don't think so. I mean, I can't think of any things.
So this is something that I noticed on the show, and to me, being that I've been a coach for 20 years, it's something I look for, and I saw in you, which again was something that impressed me on the show. So there were points on the show where I watched Hank coach you,
Yeah.
And I think that really speaks to your entire life. I watched you be open. I watched you listen to him. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that relationship with Hank? Is he your coach, or was that just because you hired him to be the expert?
Yeah. I mean, one, I have many coaches, and he is definitely one of my coaches. And it's, most of the coaches I've had are kind of shocked at how coachable I am, because I think they assume that I'm going to come in with, well, I know this and that and this and that. And listen, I've been the doofus, in real estate. I thought I knew it all. And so that's why I needed to lose it. Right. Because I had that attitude of, I know it all, and I know better than you. And so I was very much humbled by that, and in a way that, that I needed to be. And so, I think he is very good at what he does, and specifically his superpower, which is actually similar to Jess's. I can use help with that. So he does help me for sure.
So the trailer came out, I think it's a week and a half ago now. What was and I saw on your Instagram, you were watching the cutted version of it, but what was your initial reaction to the trailer?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm just asking myself, a couple things, but the number one thing is, will people get value from this? And I really think they will. I really think they will. Most people, and we saw this in season 1, where, someone will, say a dumb answer, or someone will, do something weird for the contest or whatever. And you'll have all these backseat drivers be like, oh, that's not how I would do it. Yeah. Right. There's a lot of people that I notice in season 1, just reading the comments, people are like, oh, I never would have done it that way. Yeah. You'd be too chicken to do it at all, is the truth.
Right. Yeah.
And so it takes major gumption to even go on a show like this, and, to just, bear yourself. And, this takes a level of chutzpah that most people do not have. You come out here and it's open range, man. You might get torn apart. You might do some things and look stupid. And so it takes real guts to be on a show like this.
Yeah. So how much actual editorial permission did you have? I mean, I know it's your show, but Hank's kind of the expert. Like, do you review everything, and do you have no, I don't want that in there? Like, how did that work out? Just for the productions part of the show.
Yeah. It's our show, and we certainly, have the rights to take anything we want out, or, whatever. There are, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there are, definitely pieces from both seasons that we asked not to be included, either because they weren't explained or could be easily taken out of context, or I'm trying to think of an example, but yeah, we review every episode before it airs for sure.
Good. Cool. I just want to kind of wrap it up, because I know your time is valuable. I want you to just talk about your new book that's coming out, who should buy it, why they should buy it, give you a plug for that. I'm interested in reading it because I got all your books.
Nice.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So our new book, which comes out, here in the next, I don't have the exact date on the top of my head, but next month or so. It's actually on Amazon right now for pre-sale, but it's called Time, Money, Freedom, and it's our 10 rules to transform your life. And what we did was, and it is published by Hay House. Tomorrow I go to finish recording the audiobook version. And we really, sat down and said, okay, if we were going to give, what would we give as rules to help someone in any situation, in any financial situation, any background, how to create freedom in their life, how to make more money, how to have more time, how to have freedom in their life. And we came up with 10 rules. And those 10 rules we teach, and we teach in a little bit different level. And I love it that, Hay House really helped with this, in that they really had us dig deep to give examples, to give action steps, to give suggestions, and to give case studies. And they really, I think the book would have been great, just with, the 10 rules. But the fact that they wanted so much detail and so many action steps and homework and, things like that, I think it could really help some people. And so, yeah, that's the book. We're really excited about it. And of course, we're also excited that, season 2 of Play to Win, I believe, first episode gets released next week. That's super exciting too.
Yeah. So I've got 2 questions left for you. So one, you can take as much time as you need to. The other one, not so much. But if I could crack open your head, what are you going to do next? What's next? I mean, reality show, coaching, network marketing. Where do you see yourself in a year, 2 years, 5 years? I mean, you've done pretty much everything. What's next?
I mean, I think there's just a lot more room for growth. I think, we have one, definitely nothing serious yet, but we do have one network, because our team has been pitching the show to network executives and TV producers, and we have one that it has expressed interest. We'll see what happens. And so there's that. We have our big virtual experience. And so I'm excited for that. Got some amazing speakers, and, it's just going to be, a constant, how do we impact more people? How do we make a bigger difference? What are the, problems in the world that we can, help with? And so whatever we can do to grow that by, getting around the right people, by hiring the right, coaching and getting the right technology, et cetera. That's what we'll be doing.
All right. Last question. I'm going to let you off the hook. If you were me, what would you ask that I haven't asked yet?
I mean, I would just say, it depend on really, because the way that you just asked it, you're asking what question should you have asked, and I guess the question would be, what is it that you really want in your life, man? And so based on that answer from you would dictate, my question. And so whether it's, relationship, whether it's, more money, whether it's, become the top person in your company, or, it would really depend, what do you want?
Yeah. So I think you've already really hammered that home. Your whole life message is about providing value to people so that they can get that time, freedom, and money, right?
Yeah, because, a lot of things can happen, if I look at, I have, 4 kids. I got 2, boys, 21 years old plus, and then I have a, 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And, the difference with time, money, freedom is, my 2 older boys, there were many times I barely got to see them, or I was just so stressed out because of bills that I really couldn't be present with them. And, that's unfortunate. That sucks. I look at the difference, with Graham and Sabrina, of going to all her Taekwondo stuff, going to, just being around them, every day, more time than not being around them. And yeah, there's exceptions, but nothing like what it used to be. I mean, I used to work and leave before the boys were awake and come home after they were asleep. And that was most days. And so, when you create time, money, freedom, you don't really know, what does your life look like if, and I'll give you an example of, I went from not being able, I didn't take my boys on a vacation for years and years and years. And man, I don't even remember if I took them outside until 2009. I don't know if I even took them outside of Florida that I can remember at all. But, just, a month ago, We, rented a big house in the mountains of North Carolina and had, 5 or 6 families float in and out of it, come visit us. And, we didn't hit them with a bill. We covered it. Right. And so like, what could you do, for your family or your friends or your kids, if you had time, money, freedom? What causes would you be able to spend more time on, or invest, or donate more money to? And so, we just think that there's, all of us have amazing capacities, and that's only increased if you have time, money, freedom.
It's true, but it's not meant this way. I almost love watching your kids on your stories more than you.
They're awesome. They're a lot of fun.
He is so funny. Like I just laugh my kids are older now, so I don't have that anymore. But I like watching it. It's great.
I mean, they both have awesome personalities. I mean, she's a firecracker, and he's the Buddha.
Yeah. So to watch them being so happy really speaks a lot of volume.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah.
Being able to provide so much value for me. And if you'll just stay on for one more second as I end the live, I would appreciate it.